And when the great tsunami comes, and it goes over Britain, then over France, and then over Germany, and it gets to Moscow. When the great financial tsunami comes that has begun, and it's going to be assholes and elbows down the toilet, except for the 500 horsemen of the apocalypse that are riding through with a balance sheet in one hand and a fucking sword cutting a motherfucker's head off with the other hand, and leaving them for dead. Deb's right, Marcus is right. Start clean and give the people the alternative they don't currently have in that marketplace. And just as the example that Deb gave, which was I'd forgotten about that actually. It was a long time ago. And then, as Marcus also pointed out, once the first deal, you'll never want for cash, because it's a cash-rich business, pun intended. But the deals that are available now, as I've been pounding my chest all day today, have gotten cheaper, including Deb's and Ellie. I mean, the deals have gotten cheaper because of unless a miracle happens when the market opens up the day after, on the 27th, whenever it opens up, and the market goes back up 4,000 or 5,000 points, which isn't likely. I mean, every deal on the planet right now is cheaper. Every deal, and in fact, Captain America on his deals, they got cheaper, and his deals were finalized, and they still got cheaper because they hadn't closed yet. So every deal on the planet that hasn't, where they've called cleared funds, or in other words, the funds have gone into the bank accounts and the title is transferred, got cheaper on the planet. Every single deal that's out there. If you ask. If you don't ask, you certainly won't get. None of the sellers are going to say, vis-a-vis the new world market, I don't think that you should be paying me as much. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that. You have to demand. And, with their hand on their heart or wherever they put their hand, they can't say that because of worldwide economics, things have gotten more expensive. No, they can't. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you're buying and what they're selling. But again, if you don't push, because the squeaky wheel will get the grease. Even this business that you've been describing to us has gotten cheaper. All those businesses, all those houses, legal or otherwise, got cheaper. They got cheaper, and by coincidence you're here, and you're learning how to take advantage of that in a legal way. And it'll be, next year. I knew 2019 was going to be a dynamite year, but now it's going to be, meteoric. Meteoric. A lot of deals are going to get done for the people that are brave enough to step forward into the breach, because there's going to be people. Everybody's going to be running this way. It's like when you're at a big 70-story building and at 5 o'clock. Or thereabouts, you run over because everybody's going home. Well, you're going to be standing there, and they're going to be coming, in droves. And the guys and gals that somehow push their way through, because the banks still have to get the money out the door. Still. Now, banks are going to be looking to strengthening their balance sheets. Okay? So the spread may go from 125 to 150, 1.5. But as long as the free cash flow covers that, then you've got no problem. Then you've got no problems. But
you're saying that debt service coverage expectation will go up?
Yeah, I would imagine so, because the boards of the big banks and the little banks are going to be looking to protect themselves a little more. So they're going to want. I don't think any deals are. I told you I've done deals at 1.001. I don't think there's going to be any of those. But the 1.25 is going to go to 1.5. Deals that they would normally do at 1.5 are going to go to 1.6, 1.65, etc. and the just for a little cushion, because when a deal goes from 1.25 to 1.5, that's 25 basis points, but that's the difference of 20%. That's the difference. So they got 20% more cushion. And even though, you know, I tease you about being shitty managers, because most of us are shitty managers, but that bank's going to be looking for that extra cushion. But these deals have that cushion. These deals have that cushion. Most of the deals that we presented so far, and the deals that we're going to present going forward. And it's interesting, the cases that we've looked at from Stanford, Harvard, and some of the B schools are shitty cases. I mean, and they're putting their best foot forward on those cases online. They're not putting the worst fucking cases forward. So you can imagine what the worst cases look like. I mean, you can imagine. And so far, well, in 25 years now, I've never seen a business school case from any of the B schools that showed owner finance. Never. And we all know owner finance has been around from, you know, I say Cain and Abel and Moses, but a long time. I don't know, Cain, you know, before, is it Cain that killed Abel?
Right.
Okay. Before he hit him upside the fucking head, I don't know if they were doing a deal over some piece of property, but the point is that you have really, it's not just an extra tool, you have the tool, and in collapsing markets, owner finance is paramount because it's the thing that you really have control over. You may not be able to, you know, banks change their covenants, they do this, do that, etc. But you can control the situation with owner finance because you bring a whole new spectrum to the investment continuum with owner finance. And 100%, and the only downside, as I said it countless times now, the only downside with 100% owner finance is paying fees to lawyers and accountants and paying yourself a few shekels. And then, of course, then you refinance. And again, they're not looking for 30, 40 months or days operating experience because this is the first time they've looked at the credit. So they're not looking for you to show the experience of running the businesses. And as Marcus will attest to, running them is a motherfucker. I mean, buying them is, although when he gave you his 3-year case that he died over, but, and you're going to have those, but I mean, it's running these businesses that's a bitch. It's running them. Okay, on that happy note, YouTube, it's the tsunami's coming. The financial tsunami that you're going to drown in if you don't get your finger out and take fucking action. If there was ever a time to pull the fucking trigger and just fucking do it, is now. As the wave, the 1,000-foot wave, comes crashing down on all the snowflake cunts around the fucking world and drowns them in their own mediocrity. Good night, YouTube.